Hello, YouTube. We are back for the attack for the X-Men #1, and we're forging ahead. And there's a lot going on here. We have a blender. We also have a blender top. And inside the blender top is paper pulp. And everyone who watches my channel on a consistent basis knows how I make paper pulp. And this is the start of me making the pulp for the X-Men #1. So what I'll do is I'll take this and we'll put it to the side for now. Also, what I have is my shelving units. And inside of the shelving units is the X-Men cover. And I have to be candid, I did a little work off camera because I want to try to accelerate the process and get moving with it. Not that I'm rushing, I'm Italian, I'm not Russian, but I want to move the process along so we can get it done and return it to the owner so it can be submitted to CGC, or I may be submitting it. I don't know. I have to speak to Saucedogcomics. So what did I do off camera? What I did off camera was I performed tear seals on the interior of the front cover. There was a lot of rips, if you recall, based on the last upload and us looking at the book or the cover itself. So I wanted to repair all the tear seals, and this is the job that was done. We repaired a tear seal here, 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 and a few other locations. I had to reinforce the top. On the top left, that was coming off. There's a rip here. We know all of the repairs that we did for the areas by the helmet of Magneto. There's a tear seal here. And it's all performed with Tengojo. I used a very, very thin portion, or a thin width-wise section of Tengojo, and we attached it with methyl cellulose. Also, what we have here is the color of the pulp that I am working on. And I'm going to have to adjust it because I'm unhappy with the color. So we're going to have to work on it a little bit more. And it's fine working on it a little bit more because the more we work on it, the closer I can get the color of the pulp and the better the job will be. So let's just take a look at the color of the pulp that I have now, and let's see what we're faced with to try to make the pulp blend in better to the cover. So if you look at it right here, it matches quite well. I like the way it matches. I think it will blend nicely. But I am seeing, personally, a rust color that has to come out. And what does that mean, rust color? There is a little orangey tone in the tan of the book. So what I have in my arsenal is a rusty color acid-free paper that I am going to get right now. We're going to put it into our pulp mix. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's close up the cover. And I have the cover separated by two pieces of Polytex, just like this. And then I have it sandwiched in my clear plastic, and we're keeping it for safekeeping in the book binding press. So what we do, or what we have here, is my paper pulp. And as an artist mixes his paint, I also want to mix my paper pulp with different colors. This is the orange color that I like to add right here to the mix in order to get that orange color that I see is in the X-Men #1 cover. So what we have here is we have a little water, and then I think that may be enough to add in. So I'm not going to add any more. I want to add it, and I want to introduce it in little portions of the paper, little sections of the paper to build the color. Because I don't want to make it too dark with the color in order to try to adjust it, because then I have to start lightening it up. So you just add a little bit of the color that you want to try to achieve, a little bit at a time. So what I'll do is I'll mix this rust color, or I would say rusty brown color, into my water, tearing it up a little bit. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll add a little bit more. I'm going to go radical. I'm going to add a little bit more into the mix, just like this. So we'll let this soak for quite some time. Usually I like to make this soak for about an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes overnight. I know I just gave a lot of different time periods, and people are like, what's wrong with this guy? He's not very scientific. He is not very articulate with formulas and times and this and that. Because what I feel is that leaf casting is more of an art form within the umbrella of conservation. It's not that scientific, in my opinion. It's more of an art form, as if you are making a piece of art. So the main thing that you want to do when you start soaking your paper to make the pulp is you want to soak it long enough where it easily rips and it breaks down easily with your fingers, and it will fall apart with ease. So that's why you want to make this sit for a while and let it just break down and absorb the water. And then what we will do, I'll take the pulp that I have in the mixer right here, and I'll put it into a separate vessel, and then I'll mix this, and then I'll mix them both together. And I'll show you how I'm going to do it, and I'll do it in this upload. So stay tuned. We'll see you soon. Okay, guys, we're back. So the paper is ready to mix up. We've been soaking it probably for a good hour and a half or so. So I'm happy with the way it is. And I think we're ready to mix it up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the existing pulp that is this color, and I'm going to put it in the vessel right here. We're going to put it to the side. Then what I'll do is I'll take this pulp and I'll put it in the mixer just like this in the blender. Let's get it in there as well, all the little pieces. We don't want to waste any pulp. It's valuable stuff. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a mixing, so hold your ears. Take a look at it. Let's open up the top. And now this is a nice color, and I'm liking it. So like an artist that mixes his paints, as I indicated before, this is what we're doing. So let me give it another quick mixing. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to take the pulp that we have, the lighter pulp, and I'm going to give it a nice stir like this. Okay, just to mix it up, because what we're going to do is we're going to leave some of this pulp in the vessel. So let's pour it in. Let's take a look. I have it, and this is going to be our lightening agent in the event that we need to make it where the pulp is lighter. Okay, so let's mix it and we'll join everything together. Hang loose, here we go. Okay, so we mixed the pulp with the darker paper that I used. Now what I want to do is I want to test it out, which is the important testing. And I generally sometimes will test it probably 3, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. You know, it really depends on how lucky I get. But as you know, watching my uploads, this is a labor of love, and in order to get the right consistency, it takes a few times. So what I do is I'll take my squeeze bottle and I'll fill it up with the pulp, and we're going to test it. But what I need to do is I need to mix it more, guys, okay? So hang loose. We're going to put it on. In fact, let me shut the camera off because I'm going to let this go for a couple of minutes, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're back. I mixed it up for quite some time, and the reason why I had to mix it up because I know when the paper pulp is too thick, because I can't squeeze it into my squeeze bottle. So when the pulp is in the right consistency, just like this. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Yes, let me move it a little bit so you can see it. So what happens is I squeeze the bottle like this, I stick it in, and then I just suck it up. Okay, just like this. So I know right now the pulp is the consistency that I want. So what we're going to do is, instead of making a circle, I want to make a rectangle. And you see how I do this? It's very artistic. I'm making a rectangle, and the reason why I'm making a rectangle is I want to take it and I want to place it between the covers of the X-Men, so we can get a better representation of how it looks with the color of the cover itself. See that? So I can make any shape I want. It's like making pancakes. I can make a Mickey pancake. I can make a helicopter pancake. My uncle, when I was younger, that was his big thing, which was very nice. When I used to stay over my cousin's house, he used to make pancakes for all the children, and we used to request what type of pancake shape we wanted. So I recall, I believe mine was like a Mickey pancake, because everyone knows I'm a big Disney fan even when I was younger. I'm not super happy with Disney right now in relation to their politics, but whatever. Okay, so what we have here is a paper towel. Look at all that water that comes through. Then, as you see, I have a regular towel underneath on my workbench, which absorbs the water, because the amount of water that comes through, it's amazing. And that's why this Ramée and Holly text is really a good conservationist tool, because it really helps in doing the leaf casting and things of that nature. So I have the towel here. I'm trying to blot it out and try to get as much water out as possible. Now, Kenny Sanderson tells me that the way I do it, it's fine the way I dry the pulp with my oil burner, but he does it differently because he has to be more rapid, because he does it as a profession. I can sit around and be patient and wait for the pulp to dry in order to see what the color is to match it up with the existing cover. So what are we going to do next? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to set it up the way I do on my oil burner next to me to my right, stage right, I think that is this way. And I then will hopefully be close or closer to the color of the X-Men #1. So that's it for this upload, guys. What I'll do is next upload, we will have the pulp ready. I will have, and I'll show you when I do that thing where I take all the different color pulps and I line it up. That's my little thing that I do on camera. Everyone knows how I do it who watches the channel. And then also what I want to do is get the dimensions ready for the leaf casting. And let's go back and maybe recall, I know we have a lot of uploads. We have many uploads in relation to this book. I think this is the 20th or something. So we're very busy. And what I want to do is I want to take the measurements. And I'm looking for my piece of paper. I don't see it. I think it fell. But if you recall, I cut a piece of paper which was the dimension of the cover, and I think it fell, so I have to find that. And then we'll get going and we'll be ready for leaf casting. So thank you for stopping by, listening to me babble, and stay tuned.